I've had a hard time recording this video because I've always been a go hard, all or nothing type of person, and I'm now advocating for something that's completely the opposite: slow living. I got to this slow living because of actually chasing my lifelong dream. And chasing a dream is something that movies are made of and YouTube videos. I just recently watched a video by Casey Neistat about chasing his impossible dream. Now, my impossible dream was becoming an airline pilot. It was mainly the money aspect of it that made it really hard. And the chase of this dream was exciting, the struggle was almost addictive, and it got me into this fast-paced life of getting things done quickly and efficiently. Eventually, I did become an airline pilot. And as a pilot, my life still stayed super fast paced. It was basically rushing through meals, running through airports, rushing through any activities if I had time on an overnight, and mostly I didn't. The places that I went to and that I got to visit because of the job, I just couldn't enjoy them much. But I thought I was made for that. I never really wanted a 9-to-5 job, and it just seemed like such an exciting lifestyle. It was so hard to then have to admit that I was wrong. I love flying. I really love the freedom of it and that sense of purpose that it gave me, but I really do not love the pilot lifestyle at all. 4 months ago, I made the difficult decision to quit my job to reevaluate what is important to me in my life and why these things matter to me. I needed to slow down to take care of my mental and my physical health. Before I share with you how slow living has changed my life forever, I do want to acknowledge that something as drastic as quitting your job, that comes from a place of great privilege. I am happy and also very thankful that my pilot job enabled me to save money to be able to do something like that. But I also know what it feels like to really need that paycheck. I know how it feels to be drowning in debt, and you might have a family that's depending on you. So I want to share with you slow living tips that you can also apply even if you're in a season of hustling and working hard. Slowing down just a little bit can absolutely prevent you from burning out. Here's how to do it. It's strange, but most of us respond to feeling stressed and overwhelmed by actually doing more and working harder. You start feeling a little bit tired, so then you actually just drink a cup of coffee so you can power through. Then you might start feeling that you can't concentrate anymore. You still power through and you chase that coffee with a can of energy drink. But when you try to power through your fatigue, your performance will suffer. Coming up with new ideas will be harder. You lose your creativity. You're fidgeting more, procrastination set in, and it's becoming almost impossible for you to concentrate when you are that exhausted. Author Mckeown, in his book Effortless, offers the following simple rule to not work ourselves to complete exhaustion every single day. Do not do more today than you can completely recover from today. Do not do more this week than you can recover from this week. You can build in little periods of recovery throughout your day to stay fresh and energetic. The book mentions a study in which the best performing athletes, musicians, chess players, writers, all honed their skills in the following way: by practicing in the morning in 3 sessions of 60 to 90 minutes and then take 10 to 15 minute breaks in between. And meanwhile, others that were taking fewer or shorter breaks actually performed less well. Now, I found that this emphasis on recovery actually works really well, but it was really hard to implement because I was used to pushing through fatigue all the time, and it just seems really counterintuitive to do less and then actually get better results. If you feel the same way, if you have a hard time just setting down the work, really just try to take that 10 to 15 minute break and you will find that you will actually get more done. Now, it's also important to talk about what you will do in those 10 to 15 minute breaks, and that brings us to the next principle that I've been applying in my slow living journey, and that is niksen. I'm from the Netherlands, and in Dutch we actually have a verb that fits seamlessly into the slow living lifestyle, and that is niksen. Niksen comes from the word niks, which means nothing. So loosely translated, niksen means the art of doing nothing. It's not about being lazy, it's about using that little recovery time to let the mind wander, to allow yourself to be bored. It's in these seemingly insignificant little moments where you do actually nothing that you can come up with solutions to those nagging questions that you have and problems that you have. It's the times that you're bored where you can find creativity. So in that way, Nixon doing absolutely nothing is actually incredibly productive. Now, the way that I practice the art of doing nothing is, for example, drinking a cup of coffee or a cup of tea and just solely doing that. Not picking up my phone, not reading a book, but just enjoying the fact that I can get those 10 to 15 minutes with my warm beverage and just be bored. Let it happen. Let my mind go where my mind wants to go. Since I've gone through most of my life believing that doing absolutely nothing is a waste of time, this is a hard one to get into. But I have absolutely noticed an increase in creative ideas and also just a better mood overall. So far, we've spoken about slow living suggestions that are mainly centered around the work, the essential things that we want to get done in a day. Then there's also the time that we have off. And most people experience that off time to be way too short. And then because of that, we try to cram in as many fun activities that we can in our short weekends and in our short vacations. And then we end up exhausted from trying to do way too many things to try to have fun and relax. Slow living means to do the opposite of cramming in a ton of experiences into a short time. It means doing less things in a longer period of time. And then you're also happy that you chose to do less things because you can experience these moments more fully. That's the joy of missing out. Another book with great slow living tips is the book 4,000 Weeks by Oliver Burkeman. And in this book, he suggests that the challenge of time management really isn't about how to get everything done, because we truly cannot get everything done, but it's about the challenge how to choose what not to do and feel okay about it. So try to choose a few things that you want to do in a given period of time and be okay with the things that you then consequently have to ignore. It's okay to say no to some things so that you can really enjoy the moment fully. 4,000 weeks assumes that the average human being will become about 80 years old, and that will give you 4,000 weeks of living. Now, you might get more than that, you might get less than 4,000 weeks. The amount of weeks that we get throughout our lifetime is basically, it remains a mystery, right? And how you can spend the weeks that you will get, you can't dictate how you are going to spend those weeks, because something unexpected can always happen. But the one thing that you can do to maximize the weeks that you have to get the most out of those weeks is to be fully present in the moment and happy with the thing that you choose to do in that given moment. And if you just so happen to find yourself in a particular moment doing something that you like so much, really try to savor that moment. And that's the last slow living principle that I want to highlight in this video. Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither will your slow living practice. If you're anything like me, you've been living your entire life in the fast lane, and it's really hard to get off that high-speed train. It takes time to fully embrace the benefits that slowness can offer, and it does take practice to fully embrace the art of savoring. Savoring is about being fully present and enjoying the little moments of joy and beauty in your everyday life. Noting the things that truly make you happy, such as, for me, it's going for a walk with my furry besties, hanging out with them, maybe a nice warm cup of tea, or just a beautiful meal. It's only fitting that the slow living movement actually started in Rome, with initially the slow food movement inspiring it all. In the 80s, fast food was becoming this big thing all over the world, and in 1986, a McDonald's was to be opened in Rome, and the opening of this McDonald's really sparked outrage throughout the city, and there was a culinary writer named Carlo Petrini who then launched the slow food movement. And the slow food movement was all about fresh, local produce, seasonal produce, about recipes that have been handed down from generation to generation, and most importantly, this slow food movement emphasized eating your meals with family and friends and taking your time doing so. The book In Praise of Slowness by Honore dives deeper into this slow food movement and slow living in general, and I really recommend that book as well if you are interested in slow living. Next time when you have dinner, try to slow down and savor every bite and the moment as well. Really smell your food, to really see what's on your plate, to really taste your food. Use all your senses and immerse yourself in that specific moment. And you can take that mindset of savoring and take that into the rest of your life and basically slow down a little bit. Slow living isn't complicated and it doesn't mean boring. It's living with intention and appreciating all the little moments in life, finding harmony between work and rest, and embracing the journey instead of just focusing solely on that end goal. And I know it sounds corny, but most things are corny because they're true. I now have a new impossible dream, but I am no longer tying my worth to my productivity. I'm going to take my time to get there. Now, if you're wearing yourself out and you feel like you're burning out as well, then consider this your sign to start slowing down.